Hey guys, this is Kane from Kane Trains, and today I wanted to go through a few exercises that'll help you stabilize your spine and develop a stronger trunk. So most of the times when people think about ab exercises or trunk or core, they immediately think of six-pack abs and they think of sit-ups and crunches. Now, there's not a real problem with those patterns. It's just how excessively they're used. So instead, I want to teach you a couple of exercises that I use with a lot of my clients and especially my athletes that really help them develop a lot of stability throughout their trunk. So that helps protect their spine when they're going for bigger lifts or simply because they're looking to move faster or more explosively out on the field. So one of the first exercises that I always incorporate in their training is called the RKC plank. That stands for Russian Kettlebell Certification, okay? So almost everyone knows what a plank is and almost everyone holds them for a really long period of time, but these are a really simple and easy bang for your buck exercise. You're gonna set up almost exactly like how you would for a plank. So the big difference here is you're gonna have your legs straddled, just slightly spread, not together, spread. Your elbows are gonna be slightly forward. From here, you're gonna drag your elbows and your toes together as hard as you can. So this exercise is only meant to be done for short bursts, 10 to 20 seconds at most, because you're gonna be squeezing with maximal effort. So I'm gonna squeeze as hard as I can. And that would be approximately 1 rep. Okay, so that exercise is a lot harder to talk while I do, simply because of how much pressure I'm creating. But one of the few mistakes that I always see with this exercise is how they're setting up their upper body. So a lot of times, what I'll see is their elbows will be behind them. So what they'll do is they'll be right here and down instead of pushing themselves up. You always want to be pushing yourself up while you're dragging. The next thing is not squeezing everything as hard as you can. This is a full body exercise. You should actually be squeezing your quads, your glutes, your abs, your lats, your back, your biceps, as well as your hands. Everything should be contracting as hard as possible. So normally I'll prescribe that exercise for 3 repetitions, 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. After that, we'll move into hollow holds, but I'll typically start them with the tucked version because hollow holds are a pretty difficult pattern to learn. So, how we start off with that is we're gonna lie on our backs. We wanna make sure that we start off with our hips, knees, and ankles at 90 degrees. They should look like corners of a square. So from here, you're gonna shove your low back into the ground, okay? It's gonna feel very similar to a crunch. What I do not wanna see is, I don't wanna see you doing this movement with your head and neck like that. Your head should be neutral. Almost all the movement should be coming only from your abs, okay? This will save you from a literal pain in the neck in the future. So, what you're gonna do is you're gonna crunch up and hold this as hard as you can. Really be squeezing. Shove your low back into the ground. If this is too easy, you can start to extend your legs so that you end up in the full hollow hold position, okay? To know when you're ready to progress or if you're doing it correctly is you will take your hand and put it underneath your back. If there's any space for you to wiggle your fingers in between your back and the ground, then you're doing it wrong, okay? Make sure that you take your time with this and shove your low back into the ground. Otherwise, you're going to be putting a lot more stress on your low back than necessary, and that's exactly what we want to avoid. We're trying to strengthen our trunk to stabilize our spine, not to create more instability. Now, the next one is a bear crawl variation. So, what I'll have them do is I'll typically have my athletes set up on their hands and knees, making sure that their hands are directly underneath their shoulders, their knees are directly under their hips. From here, you're gonna pop up on your toes and hover your knees just slightly off the ground. Just holding this is a really good exercise already. If you're looking to progress, there's a few ways of doing this. Let me show you the first way that I progress from here is I'll have them hold the bear claw position and slowly take small steps with the opposite arm, opposite leg. The key here is to keep your hips from rotating or moving. Your hips and chest should always be facing the ground or square to the ground. Do not rush this movement. All right? The next exercise or the next variation that we're gonna do is you're going to hover in that same exact position, but this time you're gonna do shoulder taps, okay? So you're gonna hover in that same exact position and you're going to slowly tap each shoulder. Try to avoid any rotation or shifting. The more you can control that, the better you will be in terms of creating stability in your trunk. All right, guys. So those are a few fantastic alternatives to training your trunk and some that I use that really help promote lumbar stability. Hopefully this helps you improve in your strength and helps prevent injury. All right, guys, this is Kane signing off. As always, stay strong, move well.